Let's cut right to the chase. We all know what PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is, but how much do you actually know about it? Here's 25 things you didn't know about the origins of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown is actually an Irish modder named Brendan Green. During his time playing the DayZ mod, his online moniker was Captain Darling, a reference to Tim McInnery's character from Blackadder. This nickname later changed to PlayerUnknown when Brendan started playing Armour. The default character name in Armour is Player1, so Brendan deleted the 1 and added in Unknown because he thought it sounded cool. Brendan doesn't consider himself to be a hardcore gamer, but he has been playing games since he was very young. The first console he played on was an Atari 2600, which his father brought back from Lebanon while he was serving there with the Irish peacekeepers. The first multiplayer game Brendan fell in love with was Delta Force Black Hawk Down. Later, he became obsessed with America's Army 2 and 3, games where if you died, you wouldn't respawn until the start of a new round. This harsh penalty was a huge inspiration for his Battle Royale games, as he felt respawning lessened how much you valued your character. Before Brendan got into modding, he worked as an artist. He studied fine art in college. He used these art skills to get into web design and at one point set up a recording and design studio with a friend. During his time there, he did the artwork and music videos for the albums the studio produced. In his early 30s, Brendan moved to Brazil to chase the love of his life, but unfortunately, that didn't work out. Between stints as a DJ and a photographer, Brendan would stay in his room a lot, saving up his paychecks for a return ticket to Ireland. He whiled away the hours playing games like the DayZ mod and Armour before using the limited coding knowledge he'd learnt while doing web design to mess around with their source code. Soon, he knew enough to begin working on his own mods. Once back on home soil, things really started to take off for Brendan, and in 2013 he released his Battle Royale mod for Armour 3. It took off instantly, and soon Brendan was working around the clock to keep the servers online. He doesn't have much to do with Armour 3's Battle Royale mod nowadays, but he still pays the server bills out of his own pocket, which come to about $2,000 per month. Whilst watching a H1Z1 developer stream, Brendan noticed that they kept mentioning Battle Royale and jokingly asked them to throw some money his way. At 2 AM that very same night, John Smedley, the then president of Sony Online, sent Brendan a direct message on Twitter, which, after a meeting in San Diego, led to Brendan becoming a paid consultant on H1Z1's Battle Royale mode, King of the Kill. Development on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds began about a year later. It was kickstarted by a simple email from Bluehole Studios' CTO, Chang-Han Kim, who had been wanting to make his own Battle Royale game for about 10 years. Kim was impressed with what Brendan had done with Armour 3 and H1Z1, and so flew him out to South Korea, where they discussed partnering up to work on Brendan's version of a true Battle Royale game. The meeting obviously went well, because around 3 weeks later, Brendan had packed his bags and moved to South Korea permanently.
안녕하세요. 저는 브랜든이에요.
The name PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds came about for copyright reasons. It's not actually possible to get copyright on the name Battlegrounds alone. Before that, though, it was actually called PlayerUnknown's Battle Royale, but ultimately this had to be dropped as Bluehole don't own the rights to a video game adaptation of the Battle Royale film. A lot of the motion capture work for Battlegrounds was done far away from South Korea, in Bohemia Interactive's mocap studio in the Czech Republic. This is the same motion capture studio that is used for the Armour games, and it's also the same studio that Dean Hall used to mocap actors for the DayZ standalone. When designing the player characters for Battlegrounds, Brendan thought it was important that they looked like battle-hardened mercenaries. To achieve this, the character designers drew inspiration from Terminator 2's Sarah Connor for the female characters and from gritty action movies for the male characters. Early on in the game's development, fatal shots from crossbow bolts had the ability to pin players to nearby walls. In this early dev footage, we can see it being demonstrated on various points on the avatar's body. Although this looks awesome, this mechanic is yet to be implemented into the full game. The frying pan isn't just good for cooking a mid-match fry-up, it's also impervious to damage. Wear it on your butt and it will deflect any bullets or crossbow bolts that hit it, literally covering your rear as you make a hasty retreat. If you're really skilled though, you can even use it to swat away bullets, like this god-tier player.
Deflecting. Oh shit! Oh, shit. He did it! He fucking did it, dude!
So far, Battlegrounds only has one map, an 8x8 kilometre island named Erangel. Brendan drew the original concept designs for Erangel himself, making sure to include a variety of biomes, areas and choke points to keep the matches interesting. The art team then built the island from the ground up using this design as the basis. The name Erangel is a play on the Irish name Erin. This is the name of Brendan's daughter, and it literally means Irish or Ireland. In Battlegrounds lore, Erangel is a fictional Crimean island that was occupied by Soviet forces at the end of World War II. The Soviets erased the island from all maps and used it as a secret research facility where they conducted chemical and biological experiments on the inhabitants. Erangel now lies abandoned after a group of resistance fighters blew up a biological research facility, causing a mass evacuation of the island. Despite what you might think, the blue zone that pushes players closer together isn't a deadly gas or some kind of force field. According to Brendan, it's actually an electrical field, which is powered by electrical emitters that were used to contain any towns in Erangel that were showing signs of revolting against the Soviet forces. In pre-alpha builds of Battlegrounds, Erangel didn't have any underground areas. These tunnel systems were actually added a couple of months before the game released into early access, specifically to give modders something interesting to play with at a later date. Back in the day, Brendan used to make custom game modes in the tunnel maps of Delta Force Black Hawk Down, and he wants others to recreate that experience. There's plenty of Easter eggs in Battlegrounds for players to spot. In fact, a lot of the graffiti you'll find sprayed onto the side of the buildings in Erangel depicts the logos of streamers who supported the game during the closed beta. Others are not so obvious though. For instance, you'll need to look closely at the side of the M416 to be able to spot its three firing modes: no pew, pew, and pew pew pew. Close examination of the motorbikes in Battlegrounds will reveal another Easter egg, this time a tribute to Claude Ronald Thibodeau, the father of a Twitch streamer named Bikeman. Brendan met Claude once and knew he was a big biker, so when he found out that Claude had sadly passed away, he decided to honour him with this in-game design. There's also a Top Gear Easter egg in the game. The Dacia 1300 is actually inspired by the real-life Dacia 1300, a family car built during the Cold War in Romania. The Top Gear team regularly made fun of Dacia's cars, so Brendan decided to include the 1300 as a small reference to the show.
He's the last one, isn't he? Yeah! Get in! Get in! Fucking get in! Chicken dinner, boys.
Winner Winner Chicken Dinner is the famous victory message that players receive if they manage to be the last person standing in a game of Battlegrounds. This isn't its first appearance in a game though. It's been a staple message at the end of all of Brendan's Battle Royale games since the Battle Royale mod on Armour. It was also displayed at the end of H1Z1 matches and was even emblazoned on in-game t-shirts before King of the Kill was eventually released as a standalone game. So why the repeated use of Winner Winner Chicken Dinner? Well, there's really no exciting reason for it. Brendan just loves the phrase, and to be honest, so do we.
Yeah! Yeah! Winner, chicken dinner.
If all that information has put you in the mood for some full PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds matches, why not check out our Let's Play videos that are on screen right now? We even managed to earn ourselves our own chicken dinner in one of them. Thanks for watching, and do like this video and subscribe to Eurogamer for more PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds videos in the future. Goodbye.